Blake Shelton has everything right now. The fame, the fortune, a marriage everyone calls a fairy tale. But what if I told you that fairy tale was built on the wreckage of 3 completely shattered lives?
It was almost a year before she called.
In 2015, 2 marriages exploded at the exact same time. One in Nashville, one in Hollywood. And somehow, 2 broken strangers ended up in the same room.
I must be dreaming, you're gone.
Meanwhile, Kelly Clarkson was building what she thought was her forever. She was wrong. Dead wrong. Cash back.
Begged you to want me, but you didn't want to.
Millions of dollars missing, trust destroyed. And a detail at Blake's Oklahoma ranch that fans are still talking about years later. They call it Nishani, a mark that never fades. This is the story nobody tells you. The heartbreak behind the headlines. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never see any of them the same way again. Stay with me.
If you're calling about my heart, it's still yours.
That lyric hits completely different when you actually know what was going on behind closed doors during those last few months. Blake admitted later in interviews that he was drinking heavily during this time, and I don't mean social drinking or unwinding after shows. I'm talking about the kind of drinking that makes you forget who you are. The kind that numbs everything because feeling anything at all just hurts too much. Miranda Lambert never really detailed publicly what exactly went wrong between them. But honestly, her music told the whole story. Songs about heartbreak that cut so deep. Songs about betrayal and broken promises. Songs about holding on way too long to something that was already gone. And fans who were paying close attention could hear the raw pain bleeding through every single note. But here's where things take a turn that nobody in country music saw coming. At the exact same time Blake's marriage was falling apart in front of everyone, so was someone else's on the other side of the entertainment world. Gwen Stefani, the rock icon and no doubt frontwoman who'd been married to Gavin Rossdale for 13 years, discovered something that would absolutely shatter her world. Rumors of infidelity that had been floating around quietly for years were finally confirmed. Gwen said later she felt like her life was completely over. Just done.
I don't know why I cry, but I think it's 'cause I remember for the first.
3 young kids depending on you every single day. A public image you've built carefully over decades, showing this perfect family. And then suddenly you realize the person you trusted most has been lying to you for who knows how long. She said in interviews that she was deeply embarrassed, humiliated. She didn't want to leave her house for weeks after she found out. And then something kind of strange and beautiful happened that nobody could have predicted. The universe put 2 completely broken people in the exact same room at the exact right time. Blake and Gwen were both working as coaches on The Voice in 2015. He was going through his devastating divorce from Miranda. She was trying to process the painful end of her marriage to Gavin. And somewhere between rehearsals and live shows and those long days on set together, they found something unexpected in each other. Not romance at first. Something way simpler than that, just understanding. 2 people who knew exactly what it felt like to have their whole world collapse while millions of people watched. That song would eventually take on a whole new meaning for both of them. Because what started as 2 colleagues just supporting each other through the absolute worst moments of their lives slowly turned into something much deeper. But we'll get to that beautiful part soon enough. First though, I gotta tell you about Kelly Clarkson. Because her story runs parallel to Blake and Gwen's in ways that most people totally miss. Kelly married Brandon Blackstock in October 2013. He was her manager at the time. He was also Reba McEntire's stepson, which connected Kelly to country music royalty instantly. On paper, the whole thing looked absolutely perfect. Kelly seemed genuinely happier than she'd ever been in her life. She talked about being a wife and mother like it was the best thing that ever happened to her after years of searching for it. Kelly was sobbing through the lyrics. She could barely finish the song without breaking down, because she was singing about her father who abandoned her when she was just a little kid. But the song had taken on this powerful new meaning, now that she'd found someone who she believed would never leave her. Brandon Blackstock was supposed to be the opposite of everything her painful childhood taught her about men. Except he wasn't. Not even close. In June 2020, Kelly filed for divorce after 7 years of marriage and 2 beautiful kids together. It was officially over, and the details that came out in court documents were absolutely devastating to read. Kelly later claimed Brandon had defrauded her out of millions of dollars. That he'd been overcharging her for management fees while they were married and she trusted him completely. That the life she thought she was building was partly a financial arrangement she never fully understood. But here's the part that genuinely breaks my heart when I think about it. Kelly Clarkson kept working through all of it. She hosted her talk show every single day with a smile on her face. She appeared on The Voice with Blake, cracking jokes and laughing like absolutely nothing was wrong in her personal life. She showed up for her kids every day while her entire world was burning down behind her where nobody could see it happening.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller.
That anthem became her survival song for a really specific reason. Not because she felt particularly strong during those dark days, but because she had absolutely no other choice but to keep moving forward. Strength was survival. Strength was getting out of bed in the morning. And Kelly Clarkson is nothing if not a survivor who refuses to let anything defeat her. Now let me connect all these threads together for you. Because what happened next is where things get really interesting. Blake and Gwen started dating publicly in late 2015, just months after both their divorces were announced. The internet absolutely exploded with opinions about it. Country music fans were confused and skeptical. Rock fans thought the pairing made no sense whatsoever. Nobody in either industry saw this coming at all. But what all the critics completely missed was the solid foundation underneath it all. These weren't two celebrities just looking for publicity or some convenient rebound thing. These were two genuinely broken people who had both hit rock bottom at the exact same time and somehow found each other in the wreckage. Gwen talked about this in a revealing 2016 interview. She said Blake made her feel completely safe when she didn't think she could ever trust anyone again. She said he was incredibly patient with her healing, that he didn't rush anything or pressure her at all, that he understood what it felt like to be publicly humiliated and still have to show up and perform like everything was totally fine.
Hey, wait a minute, no, that's not fair.
That song was literally written about Blake Shelton. She wrote it in the middle of the night because she couldn't stop thinking about him. And the music video premiered during the Grammys in this groundbreaking live broadcast. Gwen was basically telling the entire world she'd found real love again. The kind that heals old wounds. The kind that makes you believe in second chances when you thought they didn't exist anymore. But here's the tension nobody really talks about openly. While Blake and Gwen were building their beautiful new life together in California and Oklahoma, Miranda Lambert was still connected to the land they once shared. Still surrounded every day by memories of the life they built before everything fell apart. And those dogs that fans keep noticing at Blake's Oklahoma ranch, some of them actually date back to that earlier era. Back to the marriage that ended so publicly. Fans started calling them nishani online. It's a word meaning a mark, a trace, something meaningful left behind that just refuses to disappear no matter how much time passes by. Now, I'm definitely not saying Blake is holding onto his past in some unhealthy way. I'm actually saying the complete opposite. Sometimes the most grounded people are the ones who don't erase everything when a chapter ends. They keep pieces of who they were. They honor the journey even when the destination changes completely. And maybe that's exactly what those ranch dogs represent. Not regret. Not longing for what could have been. Just continuity. Evidence that life isn't about deleting your history. It's about integrating it, carrying forward the parts that made you who you are while still building something entirely new. Kelly Clarkson seems to understand this same truth in her own way. After her divorce was finalized, she made some major changes. She moved to a ranch away from Hollywood, started spending more quality time outdoors with her kids. She talked about needing to reconnect with something real after years of chaos. She was literally living out that lyric in real time, breaking away from a life that didn't fit anymore. Finding herself again in open spaces and quiet mornings. It's almost poetic how her healing journey mirrored Blake's in so many ways. Both of them returning to the land, both finding peace outside the spotlight. But here's what really gets me about all three of these stories. None of them gave up on love. Blake married Gwen in 2021 at his Oklahoma ranch, the same land that holds memories of his previous marriage. Kelly started dating again and seems genuinely happier. And Gwen went from feeling like her life was over to building something beautiful with a man she never expected to find. That takes real courage. The kind most people never find. Stay with me for part 2. Because what comes next involves that specific detail at Blake's ranch fans can't stop talking about. The one they call Nishani. And what it might reveal about how all three of these artists learn to carry their pasts forward without letting it destroy them. There's something about Oklahoma that just changes people. The way the light hits the fields at sunset. How the wind carries sounds across distances that seem impossible. The way the land itself seems to hold on to memory like a living thing that never forgets. Blake Shelton knows this better than almost anyone in country music. He grew up in Ada, Oklahoma, a small town most people haven't even heard of unless they follow country music pretty closely. And even after everything changed for him professionally, after the platinum albums and the TV fame and marrying a rock icon, he kept going back there. He kept the ranch. He kept the land, he kept the dogs.
This might come out a little crazy, a little sideways, yeah.
Whatever sweetness in those lyrics reflects in the wrong during the moment, that sweetness in those lyrics reflects something real about who Blake actually is, when cameras aren't rolling. Friends describe him as genuinely down-to-earth, the kind of guy who'd rather be fishing than attending some fancy award show. The kind who measures success by how his property looks at sunrise, not by how many tabloid covers have his face on them. And that's exactly why the Oklahoma ranch matters so much to this whole story. When Blake divorced Miranda in 2015, he could have sold everything connected to that marriage. He could have erased every trace of that chapter and started fresh somewhere completely new. Lots of celebrities do exactly that after painful breakups. They purge their whole life. New city, new house, new everything. But Blake chose differently. He kept the ranch. Now here's where fans started paying real close attention to details most people would just overlook. In photos from the Oklahoma property over the years, certain dogs kept appearing again and again. Dogs that looked familiar to longtime fans. Dogs that seemed to predate the divorce, actually. Dogs that fans started calling Nishani online without anyone telling them to use that word. Nishani, a trace, a mark. Something left behind that still carries deep meaning even after the relationship that created it ended. And whether Blake intended any symbolism or not, the interpretation just took on a life of its own in comment sections and fan forums all over the internet. That song was written by other songwriters, but Miranda made it absolutely famous with her delivery. And when fans hear it now, they can't help but think about how places hold pieces of who we used to be. Blake's Oklahoma ranch is exactly that kind of place. Not just property, not just land, a living archive of every version of the man he's been through every phase of his life. But here's the twist that makes this story more complicated and honestly more human. Gwen Stefani has fully embraced that Oklahoma life alongside Blake. She posts photos from the ranch looking genuinely happy. She talks about how much she loves escaping LA for the quiet of the country. She's brought her 3 sons to the property so many times, and they've reportedly fallen completely in love with ranch life too. So the ranch isn't frozen in the past at all. It's actively evolving with new memories being made. And maybe that's the real lesson here. You don't gotta burn everything down to move forward. You can keep the land. You can keep the dogs. You can keep the pieces of your history that feel worth holding on to. And you can still build something completely new right alongside all of it. After all that we've been through, that song always felt like Gwen singing about making peace with complicated history. And maybe that's exactly what's happened at that Oklahoma ranch. The past and present just coexisting without any conflict. Old memories and new ones being made in the same spaces under the same big sky. Kelly Clarkson seems to be on a remarkably similar journey of integration rather than just erasure. After everything with Brandon fell apart so publicly, Kelly didn't disappear from view. She didn't hide away feeling sorry for herself or anything like that. She processed her pain the same way she always has since she was a teenager winning American Idol. Through music. Through performing. Through connecting with audiences who've literally watched her grow up in front of their eyes. Her talk show became this space where she talked openly about divorce and healing. Not in a bitter way. Not performatively seeking sympathy. Just honestly. Like she was talking to friends who'd been through similar stuff and needed to hear they weren't alone. That energy of liberation never gets old, honestly. It captures something so universal. That moment when you stop mourning what you lost and start celebrating what you actually gained. Freedom. Clarity. Self-respect. The chance to rebuild on your own terms without apologizing for it. Kelly said in recent interviews she finally feels like herself again after years of confusion. That during her marriage sometimes she felt like she was performing some version of herself that wasn't quite real. And now, divorced and independent and stronger than ever, she's reconnected with the Kelly who won American Idol. The one who wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. There's something really beautiful about watching people find their way back to themselves after loss. Blake did it by returning to Oklahoma over and over like a compass pointing north. By keeping his hands in the dirt and his boots on the ground. By surrounding himself with simple ranch life even while his professional life got more and more complicated. Gwen did it by letting herself fall in love again even when it terrified her. By writing songs about the experience and sharing them with everyone. By showing up open and honest when she easily could have just retreated behind walls forever. Kelly did it by refusing to stay silent about what she was going through. By talking about her pain on national television without any shame. By turning Heartbreak into music that helped millions of other people feel less alone in their own struggles. That duet with Gwen felt like such a public declaration. After everything both of them been through separately, after the divorces and tabloid coverage and all that painful rebuilding, they were choosing each other, fully, permanently, without any reservation. And when they got married in 2021 at the Oklahoma ranch, surrounded by close family rather than hundreds of celebrity guests, it felt like the perfect ending to a story that started in so much pain. But here's why I think the dogs still matter. Even now, because healing isn't about forgetting what happened to you. Healing is about making peace with all the versions of yourself that led you to where you are now. The Blake who loved Miranda. The Blake who fell for Gwen. The Blake who's learned and grown and changed through all of it. They're all the same person. They all exist in the same body walking across that Oklahoma land every day. The dogs don't know anything about divorce or remarriage or what the public thinks. They just know Blake. They know his voice, his walk, his presence when he comes home. They represent continuity in its purest form. The kind that doesn't judge or analyze. The kind that just loves. And maybe that's why fans keep pointing them out in every single photo. Not to stir up drama, not to suggest Blake stuck in the past, but because there's something deeply comforting about knowing some things survive all the changes.
All eyes on me, oh, baby.
That confidence Kelly projects now feels so hard-won. She's not pretending to be okay for cameras anymore. She actually is okay. Better than okay, really. She's done the work. She's processed the pain. She's come out the other side as someone who knows exactly who she is and what she deserves. Same could be said for Blake and Gwen, honestly. They're not performing happiness for tabloids. You can see it in unguarded moments caught on camera, the way they look at each other. How they laugh at inside jokes nobody else gets. The ease between them that only comes from two people who've been through the worst together and chose to keep going anyway. This is what resilience actually looks like. Not pretending hard times never happened. Not erasing the scars, but integrating all of it into a fuller, more complicated, more beautiful version of your story. The Oklahoma ranch holds all of it. The old memories and new ones. Dogs from before and whatever animals have joined since. The land that watched Blake fall apart and watched him put himself back together with someone new. And Gwen standing there in cowboy boots she probably never imagined wearing 10 years ago, laughing at something Blake said, looking genuinely at home in a place that used to belong to a completely different chapter of his life. That's not betrayal of the past, that's evolution. That's growth. That's what it looks like when people choose healing over bitterness.
This is God's country.
That anthem about land and faith and simplicity captures everything Blake stands for when you strip away all the celebrity stuff. He's a country boy who made it big but never forgot where he came from. And the ranch is proof. Physical, undeniable proof that success didn't change who he really is at the core. So, what does all this mean for you watching right now? Maybe you got your own version of Oklahoma somewhere. A place or a thing or a memory that connects you to who you used to be. Maybe you've wondered if keeping it means you're stuck somehow. Whether moving forward requires burning everything down completely. Blake, Gwen, and Kelly would probably tell you no. You can keep the land. You can keep the dogs. You can honor what was while building what will be. Those things aren't mutually exclusive at all. Healing is an erasure. It's integration. It's carrying the best parts forward while leaving the pain behind where it belongs. And sometimes, the quietest details tell the loudest stories. A dog lying on a porch in Oklahoma. A ranch that survived 2 marriages. A woman singing through tears about a father who left and a man who stayed. These details matter because they're real, they're human. They're exactly what most of us are trying to figure out in our own lives every single day. So next time you see a photo of Blake at his ranch, with dogs at his feet, and Gwen nearby smiling, remember the whole story. Remember the pain that came before the peace. Remember that fairy tales are always messy before they're beautiful. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Do those dogs at Blake's ranch represent something meaningful about holding on to the past? Or are fans reading way too much into random details? I genuinely want to know what you think. If this story made you feel something, if it made you think about your own journey or your own nishani, that one thing from your past that never fully left, maybe consider subscribing. We go deep here. We look for stories beneath the headlines. And trust me, there's so many more to tell, because sometimes the smallest details carry the loudest echoes. And sometimes the quietest presence on the ranch tells the biggest story of all.